Mario. Mario.
It's the fall of 2001. Kids like myself and gamers of all ages and dedications have their eyes on the hottest video games for their birthday, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, you name it. It was a three-sided duel between Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. For myself and a lot of other dudes in my cohort, the Nintendo GameCube was what we coveted. Of the original launch day lineup, the two big titles from Nintendo themselves were Wave Race Blue Storm, a sequel to the Nintendo 64 hit, and Luigi's Mansion? Yeah, that's right. It's almost November, and we're very close to the 20th anniversary of this game. Believe it or not, we were still a few weeks away from Pikmin and Super Smash Bros. Melee. Now, those are what I would consider to be two big hot-ticket items. The previous Nintendo consoles made their debut with a Mario game, but for the GameCube, we were nary a Mario or Zelda in sight. Having Luigi lead a game as a launch title was a compromise of sorts, in order to tide people over the fact that the next 3D Mario game, that was going to have to wait a little bit. So at the very least, you had something tangentially related to your All-Star series. Besides the misguided and largely disavowed Mario is Missing educational game, Luigi's Mansion was yet another shot at giving Luigi his own series. This was one of the first games ever publicly shown for the GameCube. These low-resolution QuickTime files were some of the earliest demos that gaming journalists and Joe Consumer were able to bear witness to. Now witness the lunchbox in action. Developed by Nintendo's famed EAD group, in particular the key team members who worked on Super Mario Kart and the original Pilot Wings, Luigi's Mansion has Big Green bamboozled into claiming a mansion as a prize for a non-existent contest. In truth, the mansion is haunted, Mario is missing, and the whole situation is some esoteric plot by ghosts. With his new ally, Professor Egad, his vacuum, and the Game Boy Horror, Luigi sets out to navigate his way through these sinister machinations and find his missing brother.
Mario! Mario!
I don't think the trailers ever adequately explained the game, but I'm gonna try my best here. Luigi's Mansion is like a hybrid of several mentalities. It's like a maze game, a classic PC adventure game, but it's a little bit more actiony, but it's not too actiony. And it's also not a 3D platformer. It has the trademark comedy of the Mario games. There's that vacuum, you have a little bit of Ghostbusters thrown in there. It's a little bit scary, but it's not too grotesque or too scary. It's more like fun scary, like an episode of Scooby-Doo. In what's almost like a less violent version of Devil May Cry, rooms are sealed off by a barrier. You clear each room of ghouls before you move on to the next one, and solve puzzles in order to open up other paths. Some are fairly obvious, but others require you to take a closer look. Luigi had been a fixture in Mario's world ever since his introduction, but for the most part, he's been kind of a blank, or relegated to player 2. Nonetheless, we had seen a little bit of a character evolution. In Super Mario Bros. 2, they gave him a talent for flutter jumping. The Paper Mario games had him jealous of his brother, and he also had his own secret adventures off screen. And it was Luigi's Mansion that firmly established him as an eccentric coward. To defeat the ghosts, you have to ambush them in order to make their hearts appear. Sometimes it's straightforward enough. Get 'em! Get 'em! Other times, there's a puzzle to be solved. I found the controls to be a little bit odd at first, but they eventually grew on me. Although to this day, I'm still not a huge fan of Luigi's sluggish movement. I'm usually not the biggest fan of the C-stick on the GameCube, but I felt they made it work for this game. The rotation and positioning needed for Luigi to be in the right spot, this wouldn't work on any other Nintendo console in the past. This is one of those games that overall makes good use of the GameCube controller. The models were a big improvement over the graphics that the Nintendo 64 era was churning out. This game was a turning point in the art direction of the Mario series. Not to mention there were all these previously unseen particle and light effects. This game showcases the GameCube hardware, and not always in the most obvious of ways. Luigi's Mansion would go on to be a bestseller, but it divided critics and audiences. Very few people were saying that it was outright bad. However, there was uncertainty about the game's length and lasting appeal. Word got out on the grapevine quickly that this game was short. I borrowed it from a friend about 19 years ago. I completed it in about a week after playing it about an hour or two every day, and my most recent playthrough only took about 5 hours. Don't get me wrong, the game is substantial enough to have substance, but perhaps the full retail asking price, it might have been a little bit too much for the time. When you beat a run-through, you're judged on your performance. If you do well enough, you can get your own mansion. And if you do crummy, you'll get an over-glorified shack. It all depends on how much money you racked up. So that can encourage replay value.
It all depends on your skill!
Luigi's Mansion is a game that is largely about two things: the character of Luigi and the character of the game itself. I appreciate the effort to try to make a new type of game, to dig deeper into the character of Luigi, and to add some more Eries to the Mario mythos. However, the execution, while not bad, it needed a little bit more expansion. At the very least, you can say there's nothing truly like Luigi's Mansion, except for the sequels. And now's the part where I ask you, what do you think of Luigi's Mansion? What do you think of the sequels? Let us know in the comments. I haven't tried Luigi's Mansion 2 or 3 yet. Are they better? Are they worth trying out? Let me know. Thanks for watching the Halloween video. Hope you have a good one, stay safe out there, and don't forget to pay attention to some very important links if you want to help us out.